Σαφές μήνυμα για την ανάγκη απεξάρτησης της Ευρώπης από το ρωσικό φυσικό αέριο μέσω της Ελλάδας, έστειλε ο Κυριάκος Μητσοτάκης από το βήμα της 6ης Υπουργικής Συνάντησης της Διατλαντικής Συνεργασίας για την Ενέργεια. Η Ελλάδα είναι η πύλη εισόδου για το φυσικό αέριο που θα αντικαταστήσει τις εισαγωγές από τη Ρωσία, επισήμανε ο Έλληνας Πρωθυπουργός και επέμεινε στην ανάγκη εφαρμογής των κυρώσεων σε βάρος της Μόσχας.
To my European counterparts. We cannot have Russian gas getting into Europe through the back door via Turkey. Otherwise, all these initiatives essentially will be in vain.
Στον απόϊχο της υπογραφής της ιστορικής συμφωνίας ανάμεσα σε ExxonMobil, Hellenic Energy και Energean για την έναρξη εξόρυξης υδρογονανθράκων στο βορειοδυτικό Ιόνιο, μία ακόμα ελληνοαμερικανική σύμπραξη επισημοποιήθηκε την Παρασκευή. Πρόκειται για τη συμφωνία προμήθειας έως και 1,5 εκατομμυρίων τόνων υγροποιημένου φυσικού αερίου που υπέγραψαν η Atlantic LNG με τον αμερικανικό κολοσσό Venture Global, με σκοπό την πώλησή του σε αγορές της κεντρικής και ανατολικής Ευρώπης.
Η Ελλάδα αναδεικνύεται τα τελευταία χρόνια σε σημαντικό ενεργειακό κόμβο στην νοτιοανατολική Ευρώπη, αξιοποιώντας τις ενεργειακές υποδομές της και τη γεωγραφική της θέση για τη μεταφορά ενέργειας μεταξύ Ευρώπης, Μέσης Ανατολής και Βόρειας Αφρικής. Παράλληλα με τη διατλαντική συνεργασία μεταξύ Ευρωπαϊκής Ένωσης και Ηνωμένων Πολιτειών ενισχύεται ο γεωστρατηγικός ρόλος της Ελλάδας. Για όλα αυτά συζητούμε με τον Αμερικανό Υπουργό Ενέργειας, Chris Wright. Secretary, thank you for joining us today. You're here in Greece to discuss energy with some of your European partners. Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, energy security has become a pillar of transatlantic strategy. How sustainable is US support if geopolitical tensions continue?
Oh, I think the support's quite sustainable. You know, we've been allies with the European nations for the whole history of the United States. Our resources are immense. Our desire to grow the partnership, both economic and national security, is strong. Yeah, the United States will be here for the long run.
With Europe reducing its dependency on Russian energy, how does the US see its own role? I mean, more like a long-term partner or just a crisis supplier?
Oh, no, we view it very much as a long-term supplier, very much as a long-term supplier. United States natural gas production is more than twice Russian natural gas production, and ours is growing rapidly. And our export capacity is expanding even more rapidly than our gas production is expanding. So, no, our goal, President Trump's agenda is prosperity at home and peace abroad. We think nations that are well supplied with energy have greater economic opportunities, greater prosperity, and having these cross-border, cross-ocean energy cooperations leads to long-term sticky relationships and drives peace in the world.
What role do US investments play in strengthening Europe's energy resilience?
We're going to see capital flows going both ways, from Europe into the United States and from the United States into Europe. Natural gas is much cheaper and much more abundant energy source than oil, but to move it and to realize those benefits, you have to build infrastructure. You've got to build ports, you've got to build pipelines, you've got to build the infrastructure that uses natural gas. But once that infrastructure is built, the cost effectiveness, the opportunities it delivers are just unmatched.
Projects like Alexandroupolis LNG terminal and interconnectors to the Balkans have shown again the strategic importance of Greece. How does Washington see Greece's growing role in Europe's energy security architecture?
Oh, I think it's fantastic. And Greece is a tremendous partner. Look, Greece is historically a shipping powerhouse. Something like 20% of global shipping and over a third of all LNG, liquefied natural gas shipping, is done by Greek companies. But when the Russian dominated as the energy supplier into Europe, Greece was the end of the line, was just a node at the end of the energy transportation system. Now we've seen a totally different role for Greece. Greece is now the gateway from overseas, from the United States, to American energy as it flows into Europe. I think it's huge economic benefits for Greece, And it's great for the United States to have such a long-lasting ally and partner as Greece playing this role as the gateway for American energy to Europe.
Do you think U.S. investments in the energy sector in Greece and in Cyprus contribute to the geopolitical stability of the region?
I think so. I very much think so. And I think the pipeline infrastructure that Greece is building and interconnecting with all the neighboring nations, I think it stitches together this area of the world, these, dozen nations here, as more of an integrated economic unit. They're very independent countries with long different histories, but maybe not as much economic integration across the region. This natural gas corridor, the vertical corridor, Greece's ports, I think will bring the nations together. It won't be just about natural gas. It'll be about increased trade, increased cooperation, increased economic growth.
How is the U.S. government supporting these investments both in Greece and Cyprus?
Well, we're using our Export-Import Bank, our Direct Finance Corporation for overseas investments. I think the United States views this as strategically important. Businesses will do most of the deals, but our government is going to lean in a very helpful way as well, because we think, again, not just economic benefits, but it's important for peace in the region and for geostrategic cooperation.
And since we cannot discuss energy without mentioning environment, I would like to ask you, you have expressed very specific views about climate change. You have said that the threat is exaggerated. Please explain these views to us. And I would also like to ask you if you're going to attend UN's climate talks in Brazil this November.
I won't make the climate talks this year. I think there's a very good chance I will go next year. Look, I've been working, studying, writing, reading about climate change for over 20 years, very involved in that discussion and debate. First off, I'll say, what has been the biggest driver of decarbonization? By far and away, it's the growth of natural gas. The United States has reduced our greenhouse gas emissions more than the next 7 nations combined. That's been just economic displacement of natural gas in our power sector, displacing coal. So I follow very closely the science of climate change and the economic efforts and the studies on climate change. It is a real, slow-moving, global, physical phenomenon. The world has been decarbonizing for 200 years, from wood to coal to oil to gas, ultimately to nuclear. So I think you will see continued reduction in greenhouse gas intensity per unit of energy produced. I don't even know when global greenhouse gas emissions will peak. We still have 1 billion people living wealthy, wonderful lives and 7 billion people wanting that. So I think we're going to see many, many decades of growth in energy production, likely continued gradual rises in greenhouse gas emissions. Fortunately, a more energized, wealthier world is better able to withstand any changes. Climate change is a real thing, but it's just been wildly exaggerated for political purposes. I think it's very unfortunate.
Secretary, thank you very much for this discussion.
Thank you so much for having me.
Οι Ευρωπαίοι ηγέτες εργάζονται για τη δημιουργία ενός τείχους κατά των drones στην ανατολική πλευρά της Ηπείρου, προκειμένου να αντιμετωπίσουν την ταχαίως αυξανόμενη απειλή για την ασφάλεια που αποτελεί η εισβολή drones στον εναέριο χώρο του ΝΑΤΟ. Ωστόσο, στη Φινλανδία το μοντέλο ασφάλειας της χώρας καθιστά την ετοιμότητα για πόλεμο μέρος της καθημερινής ζωής. Ολόκληρη η κοινωνία είναι προετοιμασμένη για εισβολή ανά πάσα στιγμή.
This is an example of the Finnish comprehensive security model. It's one of 50,000 underground bedrock shelters all across Finland. This one here in the centre of Helsinki is 20 metres underground. It has strong bomb blast protection and at its peak can hold 6,000 people, but it means that each person would have less than 1 metre squared each in a time of war.
Η πολιτική αυτή έχει ενσωματωθεί στη φινλανδική κοινωνία εδώ και δεκαετίες, κυρίως επειδή η Φινλανδία έχει σύνορα 1.350 χιλιόμετρα με τη Ρωσία, τα μεγαλύτερα στο έδαφος του ΝΑΤΟ, και έτσι πάντα ένιωθαν την ανάγκη να παραμένουν σε εγρήγορση.
We have had this idea that we need to protect our citizens, we need to protect the civilians, which is within our DNA. So nothing has been changed on that point of view. But yes, the public interest on our civil defense system has been rocketing.
Αν και δεν χρειάζονται ως καταφύγια, πολλά από αυτά χρησιμοποιούνται για δραστηριότητες όπως αγώνες χόκεϊ, χώροι στάθμευσης αυτοκινήτων ή παιδικές χαρές. Το μοντέλο ασφαλείας της Φινλανδίας βασίζεται σε όλους, από τον ιδιωτικό και δημόσιο τομέα, τις μη κυβερνητικές οργανώσεις, τους ίδιους τους πολίτες. Κάθε σπίτι πρέπει να διαθέτει τρόφιμα, καύσιμα και νερό για κάθε άτομο για 72 ώρες σε περίπτωση επίθεσης.
We reach out to people, our own members and the larger audience in Finland, and we try to help everybody to take care of their own households in the best possible way, so that also in a situation of crisis, they might be able to survive for the first 3 days and rely on themselves.
Το κλειδί για την άμυνα είναι ο στρατός. Οι νέοι άνδρες κάνουν περίπου 10 μήνες υποχρεωτική εκπαίδευση στην ηλικία των 20 ετών. Αυτοί οι στρατιώτες λένε ότι θα σκεφτόντουσαν να επιστρέψουν στο στρατό αν η Φινλανδία βρισκόταν σε πόλεμο και μπορεί να σκεφτόντουσαν ακόμη και να συμμετάσχουν σε αποστολή στην Ευρώπη.
If there was a new war, I'd probably think about it, like, at least. There might be a possibility that I would go, especially if it's something that, like, can help, like, keep up the peace here, like, keep up the peace of our people and the people of, like, other NATO countries.
I don't know if I'd go to Ukraine, definitely not yet, because I haven't finished my conscription, but I think that if there would be a war that I also think would benefit the peace in, like, Europe and Finland especially, I think if need would be and I would be called, I think I would go.
Οι Φινλανδοί λένε ότι η συνέπεια του μοντέλου τους εξασφαλίζει επίσης την ψυχολογική ανθεκτικότητα της χώρας. Ισχυρίζονται πως ό,τι και να συμβεί δεν υπάρχει λόγος για πανικό, καθώς όλα είναι έτοιμα.